Have you ever wondered about unexpected surprises in Formula 1? Well, get ready for one of the biggest shocks in recent times. Lewis Hamilton, the renowned F1 driver, is making a stunning switch to Ferrari for the 2025 season. This unexpected move has caught everyone by surprise, as Hamilton had recently signed a 2-year deal with Mercedes covering 2024 and 2025. What triggered this unexpected change? Let's delve into the details. Hamilton's transfer to Ferrari in 2025 became a hot topic in Formula 1. It is even more crucial in this case than it was when he switched from McLaren to Mercedes in 2013. Even though there is a connection between Mercedes and Hamilton, he makes this change as he reaches the end of his career. When Mercedes was in the toughest times, Hamilton was still a great driver. Now, he is Charles Leclerc's teammate. The latter is one of the fastest F1 drivers. This partnership is regarded as one of the best, as Leclerc is known to be a great qualifier and racer. This is the critical moment for Hamilton. He shows a courageous move and challenges a tough rival. He did this before he left Mercedes at the end of his last season with them, which was a good career move. Hamilton is committed to winning the F1 championship again, and that's why he is ready to keep racing till he is in his 40s, which he didn't plan to do in the first place. He hasn't won since 2021, and he really wants to reverse that before he retires. What's shocking is that he went with Ferrari instead of Mercedes in the attempt to make it happen. There are explanations behind such a decision because both teams are so competitive. Hamilton can feel that Mercedes may not be the right choice for him anymore to achieve his ambitions on the track. On the other hand, he might as well consider joining Ferrari. Hamilton has recently seen John Elkann, the chairman of the company, a few times. His link with the team boss Fred Vasseur, whom he raced with in F3 and GP2, could also be one of the reasons he chose to come to the team. The reason is primarily that Hamilton believes that Ferrari is a better option not only for 2025, but also for the future years, especially with the new car and engine regulations in 2026. Hamilton has a history of changing teams before the enforcement of new regulations. For example, he did it with Mercedes in 2014, and he hopes for the same success with Ferrari. However, it doesn't have to be a better option than Mercedes. Hamilton believes that Ferrari can be a good option for his extraordinary ending in the career of racing. Hamilton going to Ferrari is the best move, and he has never in the past even thought of the alternative to Mercedes. The idea of Ferrari driving has been on his mind for a long time, so it is time for it to be in line with him. Throughout, the final objective is to have a good display on the track. However, with Ferrari, it is an extra advantage, which Mercedes options cannot match. Before, he was supposed to decide whether he would sign with Ferrari for the 2024 season or would check out with the new Mercedes, which actually shows a lack of confidence in his current team. Losing Hamilton to retirement would be quite a lot, but losing him to a rival team would be even more painful for Mercedes. It was the charisma of Ferrari, but the negative view of Hamilton's Mercedes must have also been a consideration. It is not quite clear what has changed, but his need to win has been the same. The loss of Hamilton leads to a big problem for Mercedes, which has to look for a new driver to replace him. Racing against Hamilton, who is moving to Ferrari, will have an internal impact because it will be very hard to lose him for the team. When it comes to sponsorships, Hamilton is a real star, and his departure is a real drawback both on and off the road. The decision of the team principal also causes some questions regarding Hamilton's position as a Red Bull rival in 2024 and 2025, and he seems not to believe that there are many chances for him. Mercedes might have a plan B in case of Hamilton's departure, but the short answer to who is his replacement is no one, or at least few. You cannot do this by yourself and replace what Hamilton has given Mercedes. You cannot even achieve this in the aggregate. The only problem is that if they think that Russell can be a compass for the team in the future, then that's a good starting point. Russell himself admits that in 2023, his performance was inconsistent, but the speed was still impressive, and in 2022, it became clear that Mercedes can rely on him. If he steps up this year and plays as the main leader of the team in Hamilton's absence, then it comes down to who is the best fit for him at the moment. Mercedes does not seem to have any problem with having two alphas, but a few of the very best are under contract, like Lando Norris at McLaren, and Mercedes is probably going to look among the free agents. Could Alonso's move be considered unlikely? He's almost certainly the most competitive player who could be available for 2025 and would be the closest thing to a like-for-like alternative to Hamilton, thanks to his experience, determination, and skills. He is also the only option that can be seen as a championship challenger who can be plugged and played if 2025 Mercedes are good enough. However, he can be divisive and is only a short-term solution as he is not young. So, what about finding Russell's version of Valtteri Bottas, also known as a great wingman who would aid team harmony, assuming that bringing back Bottas himself is out of the question? Well, the fact that there are real good options available other than the man who Hamilton is replacing at Ferrari, Carlos Sainz would be a great competitor for this. But Albon, Russell's longtime friend, who is looking for a step up from Williams and has proved himself ready for a higher position, would also be in the running. On the other hand, after being rehabilitated at Red Bull, he is worth considering Mercedes-managed Esteban Ocon. He would be a good support act, but he has a history of clashing too much with his teammates, and Mercedes was glad to see him out of the way when Albon became Russell's heir apparent, and they saw him more as an imitation of Bottas rather than a number one driver. If Mercedes really wanted to be courageous and put itself in a good place for the long term, then a promotion to Formula 2 rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli would be the most exciting and out-of-the-box choice. Antonelli is just 17 years old, and the F2 step he's making this year is already a big one for him. Yet, if he is good, then a Hamilton-McLaren 2007 graduation may be in the cards. It could certainly be a boost of excitement and positivity to Mercedes to know that one of the biggest stars is leaving while another modern prodigy is coming in. Besides, the Mercedes drivers are Mick Schumacher, who is the reverse driver and was praised early on by Mercedes boss Toto Wolff. But the reality is that he's not someone we think has a realistic chance of getting back on the grid at a lower competitive team, let alone Mercedes. That is as likely as Mercedes doing the same to its last non-Hamilton champion, the 38-year-old retiree since winning the title in 2016, Nico Rosberg. Carlos Sainz, Leclerc's current teammate, has never received the contract extension we all anticipated for such a long time, which makes sense given Hamilton's Ferrari decision. Given how complementary Sainz's skill set was to Leclerc, losing him is a bad thing. But it's not really a loss when Hamilton takes his place. It raises an intriguing query concerning Ferrari's approach. Although Hamilton is still performing at a really high level, it's likely that he will only remain a Ferrari driver for a few years. Only man who may find himself in a age next year and be prepared to take over as Hamilton's successor may find it to be excellent news. Regarding Sainz, the inquiry pertains to his destination. As we have already discussed, he ought to be discussed at Mercedes, Aston Martin, and maybe even Red Bull. But if such opportunities don't present themselves, sticking with the potentially promising future of the Sauber Audi project seems to be the most likely course of action. It would provide him a reasonable chance of success together with the desired work stability, although it would take time to pay off. It would be more desirable than, say, returning to Alpine or switching to Williams. We now live in an even more intriguing driver market situation, which was previously promising for 2025, but has now gotten even more exciting with Hamilton's enormous transfer. Serious choices are appearing for Sainz as well as Mercedes.